I grew up in a Christian home, and I grew up around a family that has always believed that, a person needs the fundamentals of the church, needs fundamentals of the Bible. And, it was just fortunate to grow up in a family that believed that. So, I started early off in the church, and I never doubted that God existed or that Jesus died on the cross. But for some reason, it was something I was always afraid of. And it was something I always ran from and tried to shut out of my life. Church became this place that I was afraid to go to. And especially as I got older, it was this place that really scared me. In the fact that it just convicted me every time that I went, and especially with worship music. I've been a musician since I was 8 years old, and so it's something that's ingrained inside of me, and just the music side of it was something that just really hit me and convicted me and scared me. And there would always be this thing inside of me that would talk me out of becoming a Christian or getting saved, and it would always talk me out of it every time. As I got older, I started to realize that deep down inside, being a Christian was something I wanted. It was something that that's the life that I wanted to see myself having. But this thing inside of me would just keep getting stronger and just keep talking me out of it. And so at that point, I could see the spiritual warfare happening in my life, and I could see, I could ultimately see God fighting for me, which was amazing, and something I didn't fully appreciate until after, I did become a Christian. As I got older, I just battled more and more with this, and my family was always so supportive, and they were always trying to push me in the direction that I needed to go, but I would always kind of shy back. So it finally came to this point where I knew I needed to make a decision. I knew it needed to be my decision. I knew that no one else could make the decision for me. And so in September of 2008, when I was a junior in high school, I was listening to this song called Storm by this band called Lifehouse one night. And I had heard this song many times before, but there was something different about that night, and I could feel God speaking to me. I could feel God speaking to me through this song. And that was the strongest that I had felt Him at that point. Aside from all of the spiritual fighting inside of me and whatnot, God, He punched through all of the barriers and just really spoke to my heart that night. And, inside I ultimately knew that that night was the night that I was going to become a Christian. So, that night, just in my bedroom by myself, I just started to pray. And I remember one of the first things I said in the prayer was, God, it's about time, and I'm sorry it took this long. And I remember it just being one of the most personal prayers, even to this day, that I've ever prayed. And so I just remember right after that prayer, I could just tell that I saw life in a completely different perspective. I saw it in a way that was much bigger than myself. And I'm so thankful for God, just being there and being persistent with me and never giving up on me. I just can't wait to see where God leads me from